Hey, it's Queeck Teeps! Alright, let's check out camp casters today. So there's tons of spells like Aid or Resist Poison that you can cast, and then you'll have less spell slots. So what if you want these things and your adventuring day to last longer? You can get these guys to help you out. So choose a Cleric, team out of course. You're going to want to focus on Constitution with this guy the most, if you maybe want him to ward a specific summon that you like a zombie or a frog or something. Now, as far as this goes, I'm running through the level ups kind of quickly, highlighting some things, but we'll talk about the buffs and the important things toward the end of the video. So, one of the big things that you'll want as far as your Cleric goes is the Heavy Armor Master feat. Right now they're wearing the Adamantine plate, reducing all incoming damage by 2. But this feat will also reduce the incoming damage by 3. So if this guy's taking, our frog who has the warding bond takes 10 damage, well, this guy's taking 5, but he's actually taking 2 less from the armor and 3 less from the feat, and he's taking 0 damage. Now we've just essentially deleted some of the damage from the universe. Very useful. He also has Orcish Resilience, so if he ever is reduced to 0 life points, he instead is revived at 1. But yeah, going through these, most of the levels don't matter as much. Focus on Constitution, focus on Tough, make this boy as big as possible. Now that we've got our Cleric, let's talk about our Alchemist. We are going to want the Halfling Hireling for this. They have a feature so that they are able to re-roll 1s if they roll them on ability checks. Make sure to focus on Wisdom and grab the Medicine proficiency. At level 2 of Wizard Transmutation, there'll be an option that you can make a DC 15 Medicine check. And if you do, you make 2 brews instead of 1, using the same amount of ingredients. There it is. So that DC 15 medicine check, we're going to want to try and ace every time. Now there's tons of ways you can benefit this. Enhance ability is great, as well as guidance, the Ring of the Shapeshifter, and having expertise or a high wisdom in general is great. Now as far as the spells that I'm picking up, most of them don't matter. At the end of the video we'll be showing the actual buffs that you want to pick up off of these guys. Just choose passive skills, realize you'll never really be bringing these people into combat. Unless you do. If you want to bring one of them in, go for it. Nothing's stopping you, but most of the time they'll just stay at home as your camp caster. So pick up to 6 levels of Wizard. Now the spells, again, you're going to want Mage Armor, Long Strider, Dark Vision. Those are the big ones to get from Wizard. Now at level 6 we get something special, the Transmuter's Stone. This thing's fantastic. You're able to give this to one person and it can give them proficiency in Constitution saving throws for concentration checks, or increase their move speed, or give them resistance, or dark vision, or other things. So, it's a fantastic little item to have. Now, our next level we're picking up is Rogue, so we can get the expertise in medicine, and investigation, or whatever else that we are feeling at the time. Once you have the expertise in that, now we're really looking at high numbers for that medicine check. Especially since we'll have advantage with enhanced abilities, and we won't be able to roll a natural 1 at least once with the Halfling's luck. This just makes it excellent. Let's spice up the Cleric level and make them low, though. Really, we'll talk about the Spider Queen now instead of just this Dragon one. But yeah, no, grab all of your skills. I made them 4 levels of Cleric as well, so that they had some extra buffs that they could throw out, higher level things. They can cast Aid, upcast to 6th level like this, so that's fantastic. And yeah, now you have your excellent little Alchemist friend in camp. Moving on to our third friend, the Bard. So for this I have Danton the Tiefling because I like Tieflings. No specific reason, he's just cool. So the main thing you'll be getting off of these guys is, if you take Bard up to level 10, the Bardic Inspiration will be 1d10. That you can add to saving throws, to attack rolls, and if you take the Valor Bard, you can actually add it to damage rolls and AC rolls as well. So, and to your AC, like Shield. It's fantastic. So make sure to grab Valor. As far as the skills and stuff go, Lockpick is nice if you ever bring him a chest or something, but I wouldn't worry too much about these. Grab out whatever you feel like, and then the spells, same deal. Look for ones that have permanent buffs. Other than that, you're pretty good. Another thing to think about is this person doesn't need the highest wisdom or constitution for their stuff, so dual wielding. That's an excellent feat to pick up because you can add some cheeky little buffs to your weapon, and you yourself won't have to take it. Though I do suggest it. Dual wielding is one of my favorite feats. Never used it my first playthrough, almost exclusively used it my second playthrough. It's awesome. Now I boost charisma here, but unlike D&D, you won't be adding that to your actual bardic inspiration rolls. Another great spell I won't be showing off here is Seeming. That will let you turn multiple of your companions into disguise self. It'll just give them all disguise self for the day. But here you can actually pick up magical secrets. I pick up Dark Vision and Death Ward because they're two good buffs. But once you get to level 10, you get 1d10 for your bardic inspiration. So after that, I kind of switched off to Druid because you could convert other spells to Goodberry or something else like that. And now we're good. We got a delightful little songster. Now here I'm going over and just deleting out all of the prepared spells, and I'm pruning the list for anything that's not important. Organizing these little hotbars, and that's the most cumbersome part of this whole Campcaster system. So, spells you want to look out for. Protection from poison. Non-concentration, lasts until long rest. Awesome. Another one that you want to look for is Warding Bond. Lasts until long rest, and you'll be sharing damage with someone. Really great on a summon if you want them to really stay for the day. There's also Daylight. That's really good in Act 2. Almost a little too good in Act 2. It'll last until long rest, and it'll be a huge aura of Daylight. Daylight that hurts vampires, too. Important distinction from D&D. Remove Curse is always nice, in case you get cursed. Freedom of Movement is an excellent buff that lasts until long rest, and it will be very useful for ground-based people, anyone without a fly or a jump or something like that. As far as that goes, the next best thing too is Hero's Feast, and then you've got most of the big ones that you want already listed here. Hero's Feast is another one that'll last until long rest, and it'll provide extra HP. Same deal with Aid. You can upcast this to level 5 to increase all HP by 25, the maximum that is. It's fantastic. Then we're going to run through our Alchemist, do the same deal, delete, and add all of the different things that we need. Now, these ones, it is not necessary to do all this. You could keep all your spells, or you could be preparing other things, or you could use these guys as actual stuff. But I like to use them as spell batteries for if I want to plan a really long day. Mage Armor is fantastic because it sets your base armor to 13. Anything that's not wearing armor, that includes, a frog, your shovel, or us. False Life is nice because it will add extra temp HP if this person does go through with the Warding Bond. Having Disguise Self prepared is great too because it helps with the Ring of the Shapeshifter. Long Strider is another one that will be a free buff essentially. Fantastic. Dark Vision. Really good so you're not getting those disadvantages just because you're in a dark corner. Always want to keep that going. Besides that, we could put on Remove Curse, but we can also prepare that with our Cleric stuff. So, not too worried about that. Cleric things, it's the same as before. Your protection from poison, your Warding Bond, your Daylight, Remove Curse, whatever else that you want. You can also have them with like Speak with Dead, or hell, you could have them laying down traps with Glyph of Warding or Silent too, but I wouldn't suggest it. Probably not Silence either because it's concentration. But point being is you can also add a bunch of spells here if you don't have them. Most of these though won't be super useful. You can pick up most of the spells that you need from just being a wizard. But if you want other things, you can always add them to your list. Now looking at our Bard, it's the same deal. We're going to want to cut out the spells we don't want, keep only the features we do want. The big thing with them is Bardic Inspiration. Now you can find boots that'll give you extra Bardic Inspiration and you can get enhancements to it. But this will be our big lifesaver. Rather than having to give them out during combat from an actual bard, it's much nicer just to have them set at the beginning of the day and then sort out the rest of your day around it. So the experimental alchemy feature will get you a lot of potions, especially with this really good medicine that we have with our expertise and other stuff. But we can further take this. The halfling barbarian will help us avoid nat 1s, but something else that'll help us avoid nat 1s is the enhance abilities ability. Danton can give this out with the wisdom variety to give us advantage in all of our medicine checks. Then we can also equip the Ring of the Shape Changer. while shape-shifted, we are going to get 1d4 extra on all of our rolls. So, transform into something, now you've got an extra 1d4 on all those ability checks. Throw on some guidance onto yourself, and now we've got a really spicy deal. If we go through and we want to make some of the potions that we actually have, check it out here, and then when you create it, we can see in the combat log that there were successes on all of our medicine checks. Hooray! We even had to re-roll it for one of them because we had gotten a nat 1. So, yeah, fantastic little setup here. You almost never will fail your medicine checks. You won't be able to get all of these things set up by level 3. But as you progress through the game, you'll get better and better at this, and you'll fail less and less of these. So, brew away. Just make sure that when you're done that you transfer all the potions to someone you'll actually have in your party. That way you'll be able to get some use out of them. Also break out of your shape change. It kind of messes with it when you're trying to get them off your team. So as we look at the different spells we can cast out, Longstrider is a great one that'll last until long rest, upgrade the whole speed of your party. You can even hit multiple targets with it at once. Great. Now, if we check out our frog friend here, we can see I gave him an elixir so he has a lot of strength. It's fun. But his base armor class is 11. So if we hit him with mage armor, we'll raise his base armor by 2. Now he's got a 14 AC. Love that about him. We also notice that he can't see in the dark. Well, we've got a spell for that. Hit him with dark vision. Now he won't be getting disadvantage on all of his stuff. So, us is going to get a +3 from getting mage armor cast onto them. This won't work on myrmidons and people with armor on them, but most of the summons don't have armor. So, throw out your protection from poison and anything else that you want. One of the big things here too is that us doesn't have any eyes, so dark vision works, but it also can't be blinded. I don't know. Throw on Warding Bond to increase everything by 1, essentially, and give them resistance to everything. If you want your summon to stay out with you longer, or if you just want to see the best for us. For some of the buffs, leaving camp is going to be a lot easier than trying to hit everyone in camp. So when we leave camp here, everyone is all together. So when you cast Aid, which has a relatively small radius, you'll be able to hit everyone when you go to one location, as opposed to trying to find them in camp and organizing them and not getting them to stand still. So, since we do have Warding Bond out, I'm also putting False Life on your girl so she doesn't die. If any of your camp casters die, like from Warding Bond, then I believe most of the buffs that they put out will go away. So, you want to try and avoid that. Some of them will stay, some of them won't, though. So, now we can hit Dark Vision onto the key races that don't have it, which is Human, Dragonborn, Githyanki. I'm sure there are others, but those are the ones that come up the most in these parties. So, we also throw out our Longstrider, and we're just going to be buffing the whole team. The Transmuter Stone is another powerful buff. With this, you can give someone proficiency in Constitution saving throws, so they're better at keeping concentration and resisting poison, or give them extra move speed or damage resist. Now, let's say you give out the wrong stone to someone. All it takes is casting Longstrider or another transmutation spell, and now you've got the stone back. I go with the movement speed one on my Dark Gert because he already has proficiency in Constitution saving throws. So now we just throw out some remaining buffs, protection from poison, whatever else we haven't gotten out there, whoever needs mage armor, other things. You can hit them with the whole 9. This is another fun one of the Boots of Aid and Comfort give out 3 temp HP. So with Preserve Life, we can just hit everyone with that, and now they've all got the temp HP. Some of them will give Armor of Agathis or Volatile Shell or other temp sources, but it's nice that everyone just starts with those 3 extra temp HP. Moving on to our Cleric, we're going to see the Hero's Feast is the big buff that they have that the other classes aren't, or other multi-classes aren't. This will give out more max HP to people, make them immune to diseases, which will make the protection from poison kind of moot, because you can't be affected by poison anymore. But also you can give out freedom of movement, death ward, and any other cleric buffs that you have. Overall, this will be a good one to keep everyone alive. If you're in honor mode, you never want one weird hit to knock you fully out. Alright, moving on. Our bard. Our musical gent, Danton. He's got all the bardic inspiration we could want, and we're just going to rip that off into our team. Now, there's 5 members here and his 5 inspiration, but you can also, if you have bigger teams or more summons, you can be throwing more of these out there. There's boots that restore bardic inspiration. There's also the Song of Long Rest, or just the short resting, that will restore all of your bardic inspiration as well. Now they have access to the other spells we've talked about, like Freedom of Movement, Dark Vision, and Death Ward. So that's what they're just going to crank out onto everyone right now. Make sure everyone's super duper strong. They could put out the Seeming spell onto everyone if they want to disguise self, but I don't, so here we are. The Song of Rest. This is fantastic for giving you a short rest. I like to usually cook this off early on. Now's the part where we go to all of our characters and we give them all of their short rest buffs. So for a Warlock spell slot, this can be used on Hex. Now I've used up my short rest recovering Warlock spell slot, and I'm concentrating on Hex. Shell of the Thrall is another good one, as well as Fractured and Shattered Psyche. Basically any ability that you can think of that comes back on a short rest, try and get that out there. So with Fractured Psyche, you're able to get Shattered Psyche if you kill your target. And Fractured Psyche comes back every short rest. So just like in some of my previous videos, summon out a minor illusion and then hit them with your ability. Now you've got Shattered Psyche on deck, and you'll have Fractured Psyche back after the short rest. Summons like Find Familiar, Shovel, and Us also come back on short rests. The Sword of Justice has Tears Protection, Shield of Face that you can cast out once a short rest. So it's nice to throw this out onto someone, get a ridiculous armor class of 27, and we'll be able to get that spell back so long as we don't de-equip the sword during our short rests. So, perfect little way to get some extra juice into your party if you're really trying to get somewhere. As far as Astarion goes, he always has his Vampiric Bite. This Vampire Bite is able to give him the Happy condition, which is like a +1 to everything, and if you hide, you actually don't even damage the person that you're attacking. See? Just got the health back, got the Happy condition, and he got the blood loss condition, but no piercing damage. Super nice. And that bite ability to recover health will come back with a short rest. So we'll be able to hit other people with the bite, but still benefit from the +1 to everything for the beginning of the day. Here's another one. This necklace is able to let you cast Protection from Good and Evil once a short rest. It's a concentration spell that lasts until long rest, so it's a nice little buff just to keep out there. And if you have anything like the Strange Conduit ring, you can now be benefiting from the fact you're concentrating, even if you're not a spellcaster with that. Hit him with the short rest. Now we've got all that deliciousness back. He's got all of his inspirations back, so he can give us bardic inspiration if we needed more of it later in the day, or if we had more people who wanted it. We've got our Shield of Faith back, as well as Fractured Psyche, and benefiting with the Shattered Psyche, Warlock spell back, and everything else. Now we're feeling big, we are feeling strong, and we are bound to get the friction on. Make sure that you check Ask on all of these questions, though, because you don't want to accidentally automatically be using your bardic inspiration. Unclick the passive that's in your hotbar as well, or else it will just force you to use that inspiration on your next saving throw, or next ability. But now we've got our super powered team of absolute badasses ready to go kick the ass off of some of these guys. So, now that you've got your super strong team, get out there and make some heads roll. Addendum, I hardly knew him. Alright, one last thing I wanted to be going over here is just some minor equipment things. So, we have Heavy Armor Master on our Cleric, so he's reducing his incoming damage by 3. But if you give him something like the Adamantine Splint Armor, that'll reduce his incoming damage by another 2. Really stacking up to make sure that his warding bond, he will stand for a long time. Very nice. Another thing, though, that I gave him is, I mean, most of the equipment he's wearing is just for funsies, just very cosmetic stuff. There are other items that are great for this. The half plate's good. The Dwarven Splint Mail is fantastic for the fact that it raises Constitution. Extra HP in your pool for you to actually use when you're warding bond. There are other items that can boost all of these and other things that reduce incoming damage. Try and put one of them onto your guy at least, though. It'll help out and it'll make him last longer. Unless you don't want that. You want him to burn out quick. There's also this shield. When he gets below half HP, he'll get 8 extra temp HP. That's nice, especially when he has so much damage negation. So, if we look at our other man, Danton, he has the boots on that recover one of his bardic inspirations, which is fantastic. The other stuff he's wearing is mostly just cosmetic fun things, and I've always wanted someone to wear that elven armor, and I couldn't figure out a build for it. So, here's another one you've seen me do before, but if you equip your Sharan Spear with your 2-weapon fighting and the Flail of Ages in your offhand, you're able to buff the spear. This is nice because even if you don't have 2-weapon fighting on one of your main people, like I do in this time where I have the 1 level in every class build, this is still a good way to get out a tiny buff onto your weapon, giving you just that little extra edge you might want in combat. Or maybe you add acid damage, which fits with the Noxious Gloves or something. But yeah, overall, now you've got a super-powered team of badasses. Have fun getting out there slaying. Bye-bye now.